Before I wrote, I didn't write because I didn't think it was for me. I had no understanding because I thought poetry was all so corny. That was until I read a poem that isn't written by Shakespeare. What was once so obscure and blurry has now become something that I hold dear. Poetry? Poetry is an anomaly. It's something different. It's like water that we can drink from and still use it as a mirror. Poetry helps us look at ourselves and see the world differently. It can even make the path that we walk in this life just a little bit more clearer. So when I sat down and I read that poem, I was suddenly hit like a light. My heart was pierced and something moved on the inside of me and I just had to write. And now I write for the love of it. It's something that I love since I was in 8th grade. And honestly, I still write like Mr. Schultz is sitting over there in that very corner giving me a grade. I write for Angel Andrews, that lovely young woman from 9th grade who was my very first muse. I write for the different path that I walked in high school, even though I wanted to wear everybody else's name brand shoes. I write for those same peers now, especially the ones that are going through a tough time and need a lift. I write for my English teachers who told me never, ever lose this gift. But Mr. Taylor, you must use this gift. Because if it's not written, it is not read. I write from the lesson that my late cousin Monique taught me while she was on her final resting bed. The lesson for the young women to stop and use their head. For the young men to be wise in the places that they tread. I write for my grandmothers. My grandmothers who loved me and just wanted a little bit more of my time. I write for my grandfathers who I've never spent time with, but I'm grateful. I'm grateful to come from their line. I write for my parents who listened to my first ever poetry rhymes and bought me my first poetry folder. I write for my friends who listen to those same lines now and tell me, man, you need to get bolder because these words were meant to warm hearts in the world constantly growing colder. Strengthen the weak, comfort the lonely, give the weeping a shoulder. You see, I write for my sister. My sister, because even though we get on each other's last nerves from time to time, I love her because she is like no other. I write for my family because even though all of us are a strange group of people, I wouldn't trade them for another. You see, I write for those whose voices are not heard and faces are not seen. I write for those who thought their vision was just a tad bit crazy, and they abandoned all of their dreams. I write for the absurdity of writing poetry over the absurdity of not writing poetry. I write for those who can't be poets, but aspire to move like poetry. Now, this is weird, but I write because I like the way the ink smells on the page. I write to ensure that the singing birds are released from that cage, because when that blue and black ink spills over into my veins, it's like the words have become my vessels and the lines have become my reins. I write because God won't let me sleep until I finish a piece. I write for those who can't sleep at night and are in need of God's peace. I write for the life after the cross and the freedom that it brings to me. I write for those that are blinded and pray that these words can be a light, an inspiration to help them see. You see, I write for the pain. I write for the joy. I write for the love. I write for the ups and downs. I write for the purpose. I write because poetry is my pulpit. This is why I write.